Hey man, hello and welcome to episode number 41 of the Relaxed Male. And this week we're going to be talking about getting back up. Why it's important after you've been knocked down by a huge failure. You need to get yourself back up on your feet and go at it again. That and question of the week. Hello and welcome to Relaxed Male, a podcast that helps men change their relationship with themselves. I am your host, Brian, and I am a men's life and mindset coach who is here to help you understand that you don't have to suffer at your own expense. You can live your dream, and I encourage you to set, then pursue your goals. So join me as I change the mindset and attitudes of men so that they can be the leaders of their families and their destinies. Hey man, hello and welcome to Relaxed Male. All right, so just a quick little notice. If you hear me sniffling or something like that and I don't get it edited out, it's just because we've got a bit of wind and it's been kicking up the dust and sniffle. I'm slightly congested because of that. So I sound a little weird. Well, weirder than normal. That's the reason as to why. So today, we're going to be talking about, getting back up after being knocked down. So you've suffered some type of blowing defeat and you're wanting to, should you give up is what we're going to be talking about and why it's important to, spoiler alert, not give up. But we got that, but also the question of the week. But before I start, I want to thank you so much, guys. This is, like I said, this is episode number 41 and been getting these cranked out. I think there was 1 week I missed somewhere at the very, very beginning. But other than that, been cranking these puppies out about once a week. If I say something through the process of this episode that rings a bell to you, you think is something that just needs to be shared out with somebody else, please share it. Most of our podcatchers these days have a share button on them. So that allows you to be able to click share and to go out and let other people know. If you have a friend who you believe would benefit from something that is being said on this particular episode, you hear it and you're going, dude, that's Dave. That's so much the thing I was trying to tell Dave. Here's another example of it. Go ahead and hit share, tag him, get Dave onto the show. We'd like to be able to start growing the community, see if we can get some guys together, start having a bit of a movement if you want, where we are all helping each other become the best dads that we possibly can for our sons. And to be able to do that, we become the best men that this world needs. And so share it out, and let everybody know. Now, just a little bit of news, in the world of Relaxed Male. We're going good. I'm really going to be starting to press a little bit on getting the word out about the different, like the coaching practice that I have and the conclave of men. So you're going to start seeing a lot more of that out there. I want to try to get into your face just a little bit more so that you are compelled to actually join up and become a member of like the conclave of men. Or if you're just not quite able to figure out what's going on, why are you not able to do X, Y, and Z? You can come along and sign up for a free discovery call. We'll sit down. We'll talk for maybe an hour and a half, kind of figure things out and see if maybe we jive. And that may not be just the only call. I'm going to allow up to about 3 calls to really get the feel for you and see how well you are motivated to actually make those particular changes that you want in your life. So if you'd like to go through and sign up for a discovery call, and let's see what we could do and see how we can actually help each other out. We have our question of the week. Each week I'd like to answer a question. If I don't have any questions, then I jump over onto Cora, and Cora's got lots and lots of questions that I can answer. And I looked around for some, and there wasn't really a question that just really grabbed me. So I went ahead and I did a search for kind of the overarching topic that I had this whole week. And I'm starting to try to get podcasts and main blog posts and the video of the week, all that synced up so that we've got a topic. So this week's topic is talking about struggling and the struggles that we have in our life. And that was what our question asker asked this week in Quora, and that is, why is there so much struggle in life? And the answer is because that's life. If I wanted to boil it down to the bare minimum of the answer, it's life. We can look at it in any way. You can try to make it as fluffy and ethereal and cloud-like as we possibly could, but in all reality, it's not. Life is 50% pain, 50% pleasure. The crux of it all. And yeah, we avoid pain because it's pain. It's uncomfortable. It's unpleasant. There's things that we don't want to fully experience. Yet those uncomfortable times, those unpleasant times, that painful time, the frustration that we experience is actually good for us. And the struggle is actually good. We see, if you've had small kids from one time or another, and they're learning to walk, you've sat there and watched them as they stood up, landed on their butt, stood up, landed on their butt, stood up, landed on their side, and all of a sudden they take that hesitant, wobbly, almost not going to make it step, and they've made the step. And then they go for the next one and land on their butt. And they keep doing that. And why do they keep doing that? Well, because built into us, we know that, yeah, we're jarring our body every time. We probably have mashed our face into the floor a couple times trying to learn how to walk. But we can't walk until we actually go through the struggle of learning to walk. As you get up and as you walk some more, it's not just getting over the struggle. That struggle itself is strengthening our legs. It's strengthening our ankles. It's strengthening even our toes, so that we can actually be able to do the controlled falling that we do when we're walking. So to be able to just stand up and go and to walk would not happen unless we went through that struggle. All that, your ability to walk and run or jog or stroll or anything like that is all thanks to us this going through the struggle of learning to walk. Riding a bicycle the same way. Shoot, I remember I didn't learn to ride a bike until I was like 10 years old. And finally got tired of me not being able to ride around with my friends, that me and my cousin got me on the bike, and I finally had enough motor control and enough inner balance to be able to stay on the bike and to get pedaling. And that was great and fun. Yeah, I fell several times trying to get that. And then I had to go through the process and the trials and the struggle of how do I take off on my own. I had to learn that. I started out being starting on the curb and pushing off the curb, and then real quickly start trying to get my feet on the pedal, and didn't always work. So I'd have to walk the bike over to a curb again, hop back on there and try it once more. And then from there, had the unpleasant experiences of trying to figure out how to stop. And at first, the only way I could figure out how to stop was to actually just run into a curb. So by the end of the day, I had a really sore crotch because I would hit the curb and slide off the seat and land on the crossbar. And so, yeah, I had I was a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort. But by the end of the day, I was able to ride around on the street without falling off. I could get started. I could stop. I was still doing the curb kickoff, but at least I was able to get moving. I was riding a bike without training wheels, without falling over. Finally, I was covered in road rashes. My elbows were shredded. There was all these painful things, but there's that struggle. We had to have that struggle, and that struggle is such a teaching and glorious part of our life. But yet we shy away from that struggle. And so why is there so much struggle in life? Because life demands that struggle for us to get bigger, get better, to get stronger, to get wiser, to become more emotionally capable to handle life. And so, yeah, we have to have the struggle. You look at butterflies, man. When it comes to a butterfly is, packed up all nice and tight inside that cocoon. And when it emerges, it has to struggle and fight its way out of that cocoon. And why? Well, nature's actually made it to be a struggle, because as it struggles, it forces the blood and the other fluids into its wings so that those wings will be able to completely unfurl and look and spread out and be strong and rigid enough for it to be able to fly. If you were to just, you noticed that the butterfly was trying to break out of the cocoon, and you just broke open the cocoon and brought the butterfly out, its wings would be wrinkled and crumpled looking and wouldn't fill out like it's supposed to. And the butterfly couldn't fly, and it would die shortly thereafter. Baby chicks, are the same way. If you see one, I'm sure in school you probably had the chicks and fertilized eggs in the incubators, and you witnessed the glories of watching that struggle as the chick started pecking at the shell, trying to get out. And we had some who couldn't get out, and we were as kids and as humans were concerned. It's like, oh, we should help it. And the teacher said, no, you don't help the chicks. And the reason why, and then we went ahead and helped one out as proof. So that we could understand what happens. The chicks that we helped out of the shell as they were, hatching and that were struggling were the weaker chicks. They were sicker. If you are a follower of, Darwin's theory of evolution, that is life weeding out the sick and the weak crop. And so we weren't doing it any favors by trying to rescue it, trying to help it get out of the shell. It had to have the strength and the determination to live, to be able to carry on and to live a full life. Those chicks that we saved were sickly. They were smaller, and most of them eventually died within a week, 2 weeks of being born. So we weren't doing it any favors. It was going to die anyhow. And we just prolonged the problem. So why is struggle in life, needed in life? Because we have to have that. We have to have a reason to fight for what we want. Besides, if we didn't go through that hardship and that pain of the struggle, we wouldn't be able to have the joy that comes about when we actually succeed. We wouldn't, without having, a week of rainy, soggy day, when that sun came out and it was warm, we wouldn't appreciate it nearly as great. So that's why we have the struggle. Now, what happens? Let's jump on into the main topic, which is what happens if you get knocked down. Why do you want to get back up? Getting back up is one of the hardest things you ever done, especially when you've been dealt a massive blow. Say you were trying to get a business up and going, and you think you've got it all put together. It's all good, right? You open your door and crickets. You do the same the next day and the next day and the next day. And a week later, you finally have one sale. You make $25 and you do it again. And you keep going, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. Nothing. And then you make $10, $20. And then again and again and again, you get a big sale. You say you made $200 that day. Well, through those periods of no sale, those days of nothing, and you're like seeing your savings, what meager savings you put together, quickly drying up, you could either give up, or you could start trying to get very creative, start trying to figure out what is it that I'm failing at. There's a lesson being taught in that whole process. You can either accept that big, huge body blow of 2 weeks of no sales, or you can fight back against it, and you can try to figure out how to get past that, whatever that dry spell is. Maybe you're trying to do marketing and it's going completely wrong. Maybe you need to find someone who can help you with your marketing. Maybe you're thinking that Facebook ads are completely dumb and they're useless and don't work. And you need to have the mindset of what you think of the Facebook marketing completely change. There are lessons that need to be learned during those struggles. Or you can just accept that body blow and just fold up shop and say, well, that was a fun 3 weeks and the most expensive adventure in my life. Guess I'll go get a job again and not see my kids and not be with my wife in the evening. I guess I will just have to go out and be the go through life as a failure. Or you can learn. Even if you were to say that job, that business that you opened up, it did fold. Maybe you didn't sell a thing and you completely ran out of money and you were about to lose the house. And so what do? You go ahead and you take up a job. You can look at that as being, well, I was an abject failure. I couldn't even run my own business. You could look at it like that. Yeah. Positively. Sure. Yeah. That's in a way that you could be right. Or you could go, well, we now know that selling pink polka dotted slinkies just does nothing for anybody. No one really wants them. Yeah, the occasional little girl comes through, but as a whole, nobody wants them. But you go through and you find that you really didn't have a whole lot of heart for the pink polka dotted slinkies anyhow. So what else do you really have a passion for? And if you pay attention to why you failed, there wasn't any passion. Maybe there was you just didn't do enough market research to find out that, people really don't like pink polka dotted slinkies, but they do like pink polka dotted flamingos. And people are beating down everybody's door looking for pink polka dotted flamingos and no one sells them. Well, you just happen to have a polka dot making machine out in the back to where you were making slinkies. Maybe instead of, you could do a retool and all of a sudden make pink polka dotted flamingos. You learn from that process. You learn from that struggle. Yeah, you got knocked down. You body blow. You just had Iron Mike Tyson just give you a solid clock to the left temple and you're on the ground wondering what train just hit you. And you can either go, well, I'm terrible at boxing, which, I mean, if you're going against even Mike Tyson at this age, I mean, yeah, he would lay my butt out. But if you realize, well, I guess if you notice, he drops a hip right before he punts and throws that big old monster punch. You learn from that situation. You learn from that experience, that struggle that you just had. You can learn from it. And when you learn from it, you can get back up and you become stronger. You become better. That struggle is that getting knocked down, that defeat, that failure that you just had is a struggle in itself. I mean, you watch, any boxing movie where it's a race to see who can get back onto their feet after they just punched each other at the exact same time. They just laid each other both out. Blah! And so you're rooting for, whoever the hero is and you watch them as they try to get up on their feet and they're trying to get on their feet and the other guy's trying to get back on their feet and you're rooting and cheering and you feel the excitement and the energy in the room as everybody's at the same time rooting for so-and-so to get back up on their feet. And when they finally that whole process of getting back on your feet, especially after you've just been clocked in the noodle, is going to be a tough challenge to get up on, to conquer. But every time you have that defeat, every time you get knocked off your bike, every time you do get waylaid by an uppercut, you're going to figure out the better way of getting yourself back up on your feet. You become stronger. That's, like I said earlier, that struggle is a means to teach you how to become stronger physically and emotionally and mentally. So that struggle that you have, that struggle, that fight that you're wanting to achieve your dream, whatever that dream is. Maybe it's you want to hike the Appalachian Trail. Sweet, dude. Go hike the Appalachian Trail. There's things you need to know how to get taken care of. How are you going to pay for your house while you're spending, whatever it is, like 3-4 months to trek up 2,000 miles? There's obstacles you have to figure out so that you can achieve that goal. And yeah, you may be getting real close and all of a sudden your car just, completely dies, turns belly up. And so you have to now use some of that money to get back. So how do you would ask yourself some really this is good times to actually ask yourself the powerful questions of like, what does this make possible? Well, it makes possible that you get a better running car so that you can get out to the head trail of the Appalachian, or the head of the Appalachian Trail, so you can go from Georgia up to Maine, or vice versa. There are lessons with everything that you get handed. Every a struggle is such a wonderful thing to be taught. Does it suck? Oh God, it wouldn't be called a struggle if it was fun. But if you struggle, these days, sadly, the word struggle is stymied by such bad connotation. It has such a bad view. Oh, well, we don't want them to struggle. No, we want our kids to struggle. We want them to spend the time and the anguish and the heartache and the frustration to figure out how to pay my dadgum bills while making only $8.25 an hour. There's a reason why you want to get an education. If you want to you want to get paid more than $8.25 an hour, it may be that to get that better job, you're going to have to give up the recreational grass, man. You're going to have to stop staying up all night, getting drunk with your buddies. You may have to actually do something called grow up a little bit, mature a bit, and to make the logical, or the decision's not quite logical, it is logical, but anyhow, you have to sit down and actually make the adult choice of, do I want to go off and get high, or do I want to make sure that my rent's paid? If I want to make sure my rent's paid, I may have to just accidentally give up that little bit of grass that I like to smoke every night before I go to bed, clean my system out, and go get a better paying job. There are standards. You have to raise yourself up to meet the standards of the other employer. If you want to have the better life, you have to raise your standards to accept that better life. And that struggle, that fire that you go through, burns away all that crap standard so that you have fresh growth, so that you can get yourself up to that better level. You want to make, $100,000 a month? Well, there's skills that you have to be able to make $100,000 a month. You can't just suddenly step in and be a CEO of a corporation and expect to know how to handle $100,000 a month in income. You would blow it away. You would be gone. You would self-sabotage before you even had a chance to make it 2 months into the deal. You would do something stupid and lose that opportunity. There's skills. There's reasons why we have to struggle. We don't get to instantly jump into a $100,000 job. We don't get the opportunity to suddenly just go, all right, well, I'm going to be, an entrepreneur. No, you don't just get to jump into it. You can. And a lot of people do. And a lot of people learn that, hey, you can't. But those people don't look at what they learned in those lessons. And so instead they go, oh, well, entrepreneurial lifestyle is such a joke, and they go off, accepting their defeat. They decided that once they got knocked down from that try, they weren't going to get back up. They were just going to lay there in their pain instead of standing back up, climbing onto the rope, getting back up and going, let's try this again, boy. We'll go for it again. So if you want to be able to have a better life, if you want to have the better life so that your your son and your daughters, your children can have that better life that you want for them, there's things that you have to give up. There's the struggles you have to do, and you should look at those in reverence and take it as an honor that you get the opportunity to have that struggle. Because when you're in that moment and you're in that battle and you're in that fight and you're getting ready, you may accidentally get that lucky punch. But then again, there's a good chance you're going to go for that lucky punch, and your opponent that is going to dodge and is going to counterpunch and lay you out again. But you had the courage to at least take the swing. You learned that when you swing, you need to duck. You need to swing you need to bend yourself or whatever it is, dodge the other direction so you don't get waylaid with a big old haymaker. The struggle is good, is what I'm getting at. That struggle is such an important part of our life. Don't shy away from it. Step into it. Accept it. Yeah, it's going to suck. You're going to feel lonely. You're going to wondering, why are you putting yourself through so much crap? But you're going to come through on the other side going, oh, yeah, this is nicer than I thought it was. This is a bigger room. This is really, really nice. Wow, I learned a lot from that too. And you're going to be that better person. So next time you come to that face, you're going to have to face that problem again and again. Every level has actually just the same. It's like in a video game. You're going to have like right now, I'm playing Days Gone. It's kind of a zombie game. And I am running into basically the same. They have their zombies have got different categories here, different classes. You have like the swarmer. These are the low level guys. It doesn't take much to really knock them down. And then you've got the berserkers, and you got the ragers, and you got these criers, which are just basically zombie crows that are coming along and whapping you on the head, and they're really annoying. But doesn't take much to kill them, but they're just real fast. You've got screamers, which if they happen to see you, you get a whole horde of zombies come falling onto you. And as you come upon each one of these, you learn about them. You develop and learn how to sneak up on them, or how to where to shoot them because there's a weakness and on them somewhere. But those zombies, those low level zombies, you face them all through the game. The deal is those low level zombies also develop just a little bit more HP with each level you get. They get a little bit stronger on their own. So it's still, from the beginning, it may take 3 smacks with your baseball bat to defeat one. But when you're later on in the later parts of the game, it still takes 3 smacks, though you've got more health, more strength, and a better smacker. So and life is like that also. You're going to have that scarcity mindset step in your way. The imposter is going to become even more cunning on how to tell you that you aren't worth getting to that level, making that type of money. You're not worth having an awesome son. Those imposter thoughts are still going to crank in. He's just going to be able to say it in a lot subtler way to where you can't block him as easy. So you have to figure out, hey, that's a scarcity mindset. That's the scarcity thought. I'm coming from this thought is coming from a place of fear. And so you can get around it. So, all right, guys, you can do this. You can get past that struggle. And while like I said, when you're in that struggle, be excited about it. Talk to other guys. If you want help with whatever project, whatever dream, whatever aspiration you have, we have a group of guys who are out to help each other. We are committed to making sure that we become the better person, that we drive that scarcity mindset, and that we look at the struggle as a good thing, and that we can shortcut the pain a bit while still being able to learn the lesson needed. And to be able to do that is through what's called the mindset, the mastermind framework. And we use that every week, Thursday at 7:00. And if you're interested, you can go to relaxmail.com/the-conclave, or just relaxmail.com. And at the top, you see the Conclave of Men. Just click that, read over the sales page. Click fill out the application below, and we'll have a discussion. We'll talk, and we'll see how well of a fit you are to actually being in the conclave. Not everybody can get in. I want only those guys who are absolutely committed to becoming the best. Those who just want to kind of kick the tires and see what it's about. Sorry, dude, it's not really going to be your cup of tea. You're going to get offended by something. Someone's going to call you out on some BS, and you're going to get your feelings hurt, and then you're going to go whine away, and you're still going to be defeated because you weren't ready to actually take on that time. If you are ready to be able to take on that challenge and be able to become better, then please go to relaxmail.com/the-conclave, and you'll be able to see what it is that we can do to help you out. There's a lot of things that I've got planned for the conclave. that will be coming up hopefully in next year. Hopefully this whole COVID thing finally decides to dry up and media calms down about it. I can hope, at least. And we will be starting to have some live events that will allow us to not just talk to each other virtually, but actually see each other's hands, shake each other's hand like a man, and be able to have a wonderful time growing and becoming the men that our children need us to be. So with that, I thank you for listening, guys. Yeah, I hope you have yourself a great week. If you liked this podcast, if you've been listening for all 41 episodes, you've just been coming to the website, I'll let you know how you can actually get this thing delivered to your phone for free automatically every Thursday at 3:00 in the morning. It's when I release it. The secret is subscribe. If you're Castbox, Overcast, Undercast, Pocket Cast, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, any of those ways, you can actually subscribe to the show, and it'll be delivered to your phone automatically every single time a new episode is released. You can do that by going to relaxedmale.com/subscribe. And I've got lists upon lists of ways that you can actually get the show automatically. If you like the show, you can help us. If you want to be able to pay it back some way, you can actually help me by going over to, if you've got an Apple iTunes account, go to Apple Podcasts and review the show. Rate and review it. Doesn't help me get up in the rankings so much as it shows people the social proof that it needs, that this show actually is quite kick butt and people should be listening to it more. That helps me out in that way. If you want to try to get me up a little bit higher in the rankings, go ahead and hit subscribe. If you are on an Android phone, you can go to relaxedmale.com/podchaser, PODCHASER, just like it sounds, Podchaser. And there you will actually see my Podchaser page, and you can leave a rating and review there also. So, all right, guys, I'll go ahead and I'll get out of here. A little bit longer one than the last week. So I thank you again for listening. Y'all have an incredible rest of the week, and we will talk to you then. Thanks a lot, guys. Till next week. Bye.